I think Scott's also on. You should be on.
He is.
All right. Scott, can you actually hear us? He's somewhere over there.
Yep, I can hear you.
Perfect. Well, good morning, everybody. This is the Alternative Real Estate Investment Association meeting here, where I know Andy already said it. We talk about everything having to do with real estate, except for tenants and toilets. There's a whole separate meeting for that, which is going to be next Thursday morning, same time, same place. Going to be the housing provider. I know Beth Short and is it Pat going to be on there, or is it?
That's Pat's meeting. Mornings are Pat, evenings are Beth and Carl.
Okay, yeah. So they're going to be doing that, and then obviously we're going to be. Usually we have the monthly meeting, but we're going to have the picnic instead, which is going to be the 19th.
The 19th, Joe.
6 p.m. starting, members only. Bring your spouses. Webster Park. Any questions? You can go right to the FFREIA website, FFREIA.com.
And
go
actually,
ahead,
Joe, if I could interrupt for a quick second. Yes, you
Absolutely.
really should go to the FFREIA website because we are asking, kind of requiring people to sign up. And I just got a text this morning that and Andy did to remind people that we will be following whatever the protocols are from Monroe County for the picnic. But
At
we
that
do
point,
want people to sign up for it, yes.
yeah. I will say, looking at what Jose Feo's been posting, it looks like there probably won't be additional restrictions yet because the COVID count, even with the variant, is very low in Monroe County right now. So hopefully things just stay, and it comes down to whatever the private individual businesses decide to do. That's the hope. He's fighting it on the city level, which means that somewhere, Adam Bello will get opinions from, I'm sure, Malik and Jose and all the other city council members to just let businesses operate how they choose.
Perfect.
But yes, please register on the website.
And that's a
And
great
it's-
networking event to be able to meet and see everybody.
Yep.
Be fantastic. And then Scott Spear is somewhere on here. He's
Yes.
also
Yep, I'm here.
check out there. Scott's actually back in New York State right now. He's graced us with his presence. So hopefully you're in a good area where you can actually get Wi-Fi. I know you're doing this by Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I do my Wi-Fi, and if this one doesn't work, I got another one to switch over to. So yeah, we're up in New York probably for just a few more days, and then I gotta head back to Virginia. We'll see about coming to the picnic or not, given some family issues. May not make it back for the picnic. Hopefully we can though.
Wow. Okay. Oh, I don't know if something's going on with my screen. Oh no, okay. I don't know what's going on. I guess we're gonna do haves and wants. We'll start out with that first. I don't know if anyone has either looking to buy or sell. If you have something, if you're looking for something, put it out there. Anybody have anything? Nobody has anything they want to buy or sell. Everybody has exactly what they're looking for.
I have.
I can. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
All right. Two things that I'm hoping to potentially get some help from the group on. The first is I am looking for a single family home either in the village of Palmyra or the city of Geneva. So I know that's a little bit farther out from where you guys operate, but ideally just looking for something that needs like mid to light level rehab, but not necessarily going all the way down to the studs on this one. So keep me in mind if anything pops up on your day-to-day in either of those towns. And the second thing I'm actually looking for is just a good accountant referral if anybody has one. I just had one property last year, so I was able to do that on my own, pretty simple. But now things are getting a little bit more tricky. So if anybody has an accountant recommendation, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we've got somebody who's actually a member, Chris Sardone.
Okay.
You can actually Sardone, and actually if you go to the FFREIA website, you'll see who they are. I love Chris because I use him. A lot of us use him. Chris is he's also used to be an investor, still does investing, and he has been fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
because I've gone to other accountants who are not, and they made me. I used to make way less, and I paid more taxes. So, yeah. So Chris Sardone, and check out there. If you reach out to me, actually should be able to get his contact number on the FFREIA.com website. If
Perfect.
not to one of us, we'll get you his number.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I appreciate it, Joe.
No problem. Anyone else?
Hey, I was just going to answer. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to answer Brett. Brett, have you done anything with Steve Dana down in Geneva at all?
No, I haven't.
He's usually got a bunch of properties down there. I'll give you his contact info. He's not a FREIA member, but
Okay.
I used to deal with him a lot when I was at Depot. So I'll shoot it over to you.
That'd be awesome. Appreciate it, Andy.
Yeah, there's also Deb Cleveland too out there in Geneva. Sometimes she'll get stuff that she doesn't want. You should definitely get in contact with her. I can give you her number. Actually, I'll put my number on the chat for you. You can call me and I can get it over to you.
Perfect. You said it was Deb Cleveland.
Yeah, she is known as the Queen of Geneva.
All right. This doesn't sound like a bad title to have.
She actually there's like streets that she owns most, like she'll own like most of a street. She does stuff just like crazy out there.
For sure.
I know there was somebody trying to chime in.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
So I have kind of a chance to purchase a townhouse through a friend. There's someone in the area. I'm from Honeyett Falls, and there's someone in the Villager, which is a townhouse complex that's very well known in our area. Things rent there very quickly. Like I said, it's a friend of a friend. This person who owns the townhouse is going into a nursing home. They don't have any family here, and they're looking to sell it. So I kind of have an opportunity to purchase it. My money is tied up in another condo that I bought in June that's already been rented. I rented it in July. So I'm just looking to see if there's a partner who would like to, or anyone who would be interested in giving me a loan. I don't have anything under contract right now. I have not met with them yet. I've just been given the heads up. It could not be anything, or it could turn up into something, but I just hate to go in there talking to someone saying, oh yeah, I'd love to purchase your townhouse. I know that you're, in need to get out quickly, and I have no money to give you. Like, I don't want to approach somebody like that. So I just like to get like a list of people who I could contact once I've talked to the people and given you the numbers, and then see if you're interested in either partnering or in a loan for me. So if it's okay, I just like to put my email on the chat and my phone number. And then again, if you're interested, then please feel free to reach out to, I'll reach out to me, and then I'll reach out back to you if I can get this under contract.
Oh, sorry. Is this going to be a flip, or is this something you're looking to move to move into?
I would rather keep it as a rental, because in our area, that is kind of one of the well-known places to get a good rental property. Again, it's a townhouse, so I know the appreciation is not as much as you get with a single. But again, they rent very easy. The taxes do not go up regardless of how much you pay for the townhouse. And you have the HOA fees and all of that, but it is, with the numbers that I've run, it is a 12% return on investment as a rental. So I think that's pretty good. I have not seen it. I don't know the condition of the property or anything like that. Like I said, it's just very much in the preliminary stages. I just didn't want to go in there. And again, it's a friend of a friend. So this person knows that I'm trying to get into real estate, has given them my name, and I just don't want to look silly going in there. So just a list of people who might be interested. I would just contact you with my information. of what I have and see if you're interested in going further or not.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, definitely put your information up on the chat. I don't know if anyone wants to chime in on that. I know there's a couple people who do lending on here. But
I'm also searching for a lender. I don't know if you guys conduct extended opportunities or references in the other cities, but I do have great deals. I have off-market properties, both single families that I'm looking at now. I'm short about $25,000 and purchase for both of them, and then I'm short maybe 15 grand for, that's, no, I'll say 10 grand for rehab. They both sit on the ARV at like 90. We can work up, me and the lenders can work up and something that works for both of us because it's coming pretty cheap to me.
yeah. Now, Jay, is that in Syracuse?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, definitely put your information up on the chat for people to be able to see.
Yes, so I'm Omar. Can I come in? Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good, Omar. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm Omar. I'm new, but this is my second meeting. I'm happy to be here. So I'm looking at having 2 off-market properties under contract. You know, I'm already a seller sent an LOI, they accepted it, and I'm getting the signed copy. Should get it today. And I'm getting another one I should be getting by Friday. The seller is out of town, but you know, agreed to it. So I'll be interested in, you know, whoever wants to buy or maybe partner in those deals.
Wait,
Be
so you're looking
interested.
to wholesale it?
Yeah, that's an option. Either wholesale or, you know, somebody wants to partner. I actually like one of the properties to keep, but you know, I'm open to wholesaling it also.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll put my information in the chat. If anyone's interested, we can talk about it.
Okay. Anyone else looking for anything? I know I'm looking for commercial properties. Obviously singles, also in multis right now. We're also doing a lot of fix and flip. And but I am definitely gearing for more commercial stuff. So whether it be industrial, apartment complexes, and or storage facilities. So let me know. My information is right up on there on the chat box for everybody. Keep me in mind. I don't know.
I'm also looking for storage facilities across the country, but mostly East Coast down into Florida and over towards Mississippi, Alabama area. Willing to pay a healthy wholesale fee or give you some equity in the property. That's what you like. I'm willing to go all along the East Coast. So.
Hey, Scott, how many are you up to now? You were at 7 at the last meeting. Did you ever close on that 8th one or what?
Yeah. Yep. Closed on the 8th one. So
Nice.
we're up to number 8. So
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are you doing? One storage facility a month right now?
Yeah, seems like it. So it seems slower than that, but it seems like what it is. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So got a couple others that I'm working on. One in Virginia and then one in Chicago, Illinois, outside of Chicago, Illinois.
Like Chicago land area or where in Chicago?
Let's see, I'd have to look up the address. It is about an hour west of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
I don't know that area at all.
Yeah. Yeah, the big catch to that one, it's assessed for, let's see, $300,000. And the property taxes are $35,000 a year. Yeah, I know. I know, yeah, that's what it is. So it generates money. It really does, but $35,000 a year in property tax is just astounding to me. On a property, it's assessed for $300,000.
That's yeah, that's like
Awesome.
New York City level taxes without the
that's
price
Chicago.
tag. I
Mhm.
don't get it.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm still looking. So if anybody, like I said, if you got something willing to pay a wholesale fee, a good, nice wholesale fee. Let's see, last one we did, we paid $60,000 wholesale fee to somebody. Yeah, the numbers worked. It wasn't the $300,000 one. It was one that was much bigger than that. But we're doing them. Thanks.
Fantastic. Scott, you trying to get to 1,000 doors before the end of the year?
Yeah, that's a plan. 1,000 doors. So up to, well, no, not well. I'm looking to get to 100,000 square foot. I'm at 80,000 square foot right now. So I'd like to be to 100,000 square foot by the end of the year.
That's
So-
it. I mean,
Oh.
it's only August and you're at
I know.
80,000. Shouldn't your number be
I know.
160?
It probably
150?
should be, but I need to be a little more selective on the ones that I'm choosing to. So
Okay.
it probably should be, but yeah.
All right, that's fair.
Thanks.
That's fair.
All right, cool.
That's going to buy storage facilities in between his driving around the country.
Yep.
In between
So-
sightseeing.
Yeah, plan is into the fall, we'll probably wind up Virginia, then go to Savannah, Georgia, Myrtle Beach, and wind up in like Panama City, Florida for probably a month or so. We have a trip out to Phoenix planned, but not in the RV. I'll probably fly there, probably fly from Florida to Phoenix. And then we'll probably wind up in California for Christmas and be out in California for December, January, probably February. That's planned right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, Scott. Love it.
Thanks.
Anybody else? We're all good. I don't know if anyone has anything that they'd like to talk about or any deals they want to go over, any numbers they want to put out there. I know Jay was asking for some stuff before everybody got on. I know there's more people on right now, but feel free. This is open forum. Jay, are you still on? Can you hear us or are you muted?
I think he got disconnected. I don't see him in anymore.
Oh, okay. He was looking for some partnerships going on over there for some much bigger projects over there in the Syracuse area, not just for the singles. But if he does come back on, we'll see what's going on. But anybody have anything that they'd like to go over? Any questions on anything? Please feel free to put it out there. Everybody's good? I didn't know if some of the people saw what was going on. Obviously, we're gonna. It's geared more toward landlording, but it's also going to affect us as flippers, people who are renting to, especially if you're buying in the city to be able to get us out to flip. They did extend out the moratorium, the federal moratorium till October 3rd. And I think I saw a couple of landlords over the Bay Bridge, not in a car. So who knows what's going to happen with that right now. Now they are fighting it. I don't know if it's going to be, held up. We have no idea, but I don't know what that's going to do for the state moratorium with that, because I'm not a legal expert. And again, what we say, by the way, don't take as gospel. always contact your attorney and accountant. I have to say that in this one. But I didn't, it's going to affect a lot of people. What's kind of funny is that yesterday I was actually at Home Depot, and in a matter of 10 minutes, I ran into one guy. He said, "I'm selling everything. I'm moving to Tennessee. Can't take it anymore." And then I ran into another guy who owns about 100 properties here. He was originally from Florida, and his wife was from here. So they came up here, and he was doing real estate investing down there. And then he just brought her all up over here, got rid of everything down there. Well, he goes, "Next week, we're moving back to Florida." He's giving all his hard properties to a management company. He's going to self-manage, and then he's going to start slowly transitioning out and basically just start rebuilding down there in Florida, which I'm sure he will, because he did well then back there. He did even better here, and he's going to do just as well over there. The moral of that story is that more and more people are starting to sell. And again, and feel free to chime in. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's been finding people that is selling, because I know there's people here who also buy and hold. Some of the people are just literally they just want out. Okay. I know that with, we've gotten some good deals from that. At the same time, we're also taking on the problems as far as for the problem tenants. Check out there. I can't be the only, has anyone even bought any properties here during the pandemic with a tenant that's not paying? Anybody on this call? I can't be the only one. Am I the only one? Do I need psychological help for doing what I'm doing?
I've sold a lot of them, Joe. We've sold quite a few to clients that aren't paying, and a lot of times we're doing the putting money in escrow, putting 3 months in escrow at closing. So if the tenant continues to not pay the first month, the buyer gets that money second month, third month, and then after that, they're on their own. If they start to pay or partial pay, then the buyer gets a rebate back, gets some of that money back. But yeah, I've sold a lot actually, where they're not paying or behind. And actually, it's great because I go in there and I sit down and I talk to the client or the tenant, and I walk them through the paperwork. So the owner can start getting that rent, some of the relief money. And once you take some time and you really sit down with them and you explain it, and it's not a bad thing that they're putting their signature on this piece of paper, they're good with it. And I've been able to get a lot of money for current landlords and buyers, get some of that money back. So yeah, it's been pretty common.
Ryan, are you selling them for retail? Because the stuff that I'm buying is not retail. I'm getting them at a deep discount.
Yeah, these are at retail.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And yeah, and I'm telling you, neighborhoods like Emerson Street to nicer areas, there's a mix of everything.
And by the way, does anyone else have any other examples that they've been finding for themselves? Feel free to chime in, please. I know we ended up picking up a house in the 19th ward, a great house, which we got at a huge discount. I mean, like about $100,000 discount. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. The guy had owned the house, and then he had a tenant in it. The tenant had been there for 4 or 5 years, whatever. And the tenant, and he was renting it out to the tenant for half the price of what they should have been paying. So for the last year, she hasn't paid. And the guy, he just wanted to get rid of it. And for what we're getting it for, I didn't mind taking the risk because I knew she was going to be in there. Even if the moratorium ends, I knew she was going to be in there. So probably if it's 4 to 6 months, it could be January, February, March of next year. So for me, I looked at it in two ways. Number one, I wanted to make sure if I needed to flip it and she was going to be in there, there was more than enough spread. And by the way, I did get into the house. It definitely needs some work. I didn't care if it needed $40,000, $50,000 worth of work. It's not going to. At the same time, there was more than enough spread on it. If I wanted to keep it down the road and not put in $40,000, $50,000 and put it as a rental, I knew it would work three ways. Because whenever I look at a rental, okay, and this has nothing to do with landlording, but when it comes to a rental, I think, okay, I want to make money three ways. One, when I buy it, two in the middle when I rent it, and three in the back end when I sell it. And I always want to have some type of escape because I'm not going to pay full retail. Now, Brian, he's been doing fantastic selling some of these guys who are buying them. And again, what may work for me may not work for others and vice versa. You know, we all have different models. I want to know that, you know, I can get out quick, which is why, I mean, for me, I want to get it down low. A lot of these people that Brian deals with, obviously, they put in that 3 months worth of rents into an escrow account. With this guy, I took no money, no escrow. I took it as is. I was going to take, and he was like thankful. He's like, I just want to get rid of it. You know, he's in his 70s. He just wants out, you know, and, but I know in regards to what Brian's doing, that's fantastic. Now, if I wanted to take this property and just get rid of it, I know I could. Okay. For me, I'm conservative. And yes, I say no more than I do say yes. At the same time, you know, I like to look at it like what happens when there is a correction, you know, because eventually something's going to happen. We don't know by how much or whatever though, but I don't care if the market corrects by 30%, which is not going to. It's Rochester, but worst case scenario, a tsunami happens and it goes down that much. I'm still covered on that property, you know. But again, you know, the people that Brian sells, they probably have a different model, you know. So, you know, and for me, yes, I like to be able to figure long-term holds. But what are some of you looking for, you know? And by the way, would some of you even buy that example I just gave? Would some of you do that, or do some of you think I'm crazy for doing that? You're not going to hurt my feelings. What do you think?
Hey, you're successful, Joe. We all look to you, so it's working.
No. I mean, look, you're only as good as your last deal. That's what I tell people. That's all we are. We're only as good as our last deal, you know? So, I mean, would some of you even do that? Yes or no?
If I was still back in Rochester, I would probably do it myself. I wouldn't do it now being on the road. But if I was back in Rochester, I would probably do it because of the upside there. So, you know, let's hope they lift the moratorium here eventually. So, yeah.
You know what I tell people when they tell me hope? That's like RG&E calling you up and saying they want their money. Say, I hope I can pay you. They're going to cut you off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're hoping the moratorium goes away, Scott. I believe I'm hoping too, but
Yeah.
I'm not counting on it. So, but and by the way, if you're new, would I recommend somebody doing that, taking that risk? Most people, like when I was new, I had no money. I would have been like still freaking out. I would have just probably just wholesaled it out and gotten rid of it. I wouldn't recommend holding it unless you have the money and the wherewithal to be able to handle that. Okay. So,
Right.
Anybody else?
Hey, Joe, a quick question, and I apologize, I got on the call late. Maybe you already talked about this, but I'm curious for people who have tenants who have not been paying for a little while. What, if you were to put it in percentages, what is your success rate with getting paperwork filled out to get some sort of get the relief programs going and get your money. What's your percentage for people that aren't paying?
I've had very few not paid, but the ones who've not paid, I'm very thankful that, thank God, I'm like, they're, you know, they fill out the paperwork and we got paid. Okay. There are tenants who are not. I just talked to a lady just the other day. The tenant is $5,000-$6,000 a month, $5,000-$6,000 behind. All she has to do is fill out the paperwork, and she won't even fill out the paperwork for the landlord. And I even called up the landlord. I said, listen, I'll buy your house. I know what she only paid $20,000 for this house, or 25,000, whatever it was, 21 years ago, but it's worth about 100 and 110,000. It's right next door to my house that I have over there. And she's just like, I want to get rid of it though, but I can't get her to fill out the paperwork. She goes, well, at the end of August, I'm going to throw her out. And she's had 2 people do that to her. She's only got a few properties. So, but now, of course, I think as of yesterday, she's not throwing anybody out. And even if she wants to, it's going to take 4 to 6 months. So,
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not the only landlord on there. Who else has had issues, or anyone else not had issues?
I've got a few that had to submit all the paperwork for, and it was like 2 weeks ago, and still haven't heard anything, but it's like they just keep bouncing forms back they want signed. And it's just getting ridiculous. But if you have good tenants and they're willing to go through the process, which I'm very fortunate that, yeah, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get the free money. It's just the agencies just take forever. So I'm waiting on 2 big checks, but who knows when I'm going to see those, if I see them. So, and they say there's like 46 billion allocated, but only about 10% of that money has been used or utilized to this date. So,
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. I saw a question pop in about, do the forms need to be notarized? No, I mean, I go right in, I sit right down with the tenants and they sign it and I take it in, hand deliver it. Nobody notarizes anything.
By the way, it's pretty simple. I know we're getting a little bit of landlording here, so we're gonna, but it is pretty simple. I've seen the paperwork. If I can deal with it, anybody can. It's pretty simple from the one I saw. Of course, different agencies, maybe it's different. I don't know. But I think there's a lot of them that I've talked to that said, listen, if this keeps going, I'm just going to sell. You know, they just want to get out. They just don't want to deal with it anymore. And you know, this one guy who sold that property to me in the 19th ward, it was causing stress not only for him but between him and his wife. Okay, and he was just like, I don't need the house. I know he used to live in it. So, you know, and it's not a matter of going in and just taking advantage of other people. He's just like, listen, I just don't want, and I told the guy, I go, listen, if you sell this, even put this on the MLS, you're going to get a heck of a lot more money. And I kept telling him, he goes, I don't know if the tenant's even going to let me in the house. I don't want to deal with it. I just don't want to. He goes, I know you can solve my problem. I said, done. Okay. So he's happy. He hasn't had to go over there, you know, but we're going to deal with it. And again, I don't recommend people doing this unless you are experienced or have the wherewithal to be able to handle holding on to that property, because you're talking 6 months out. So for me, my numbers, I think I'm okay. Worst case scenario, even if I had to put 50, let's just say they left with the kitchen cabinets and the hot water tank, okay, which has happened to people, I'm still going to be okay. Again, I'm conservative. My models are, I want to be right around 50% as far as value of the property. So I have that big spread, because that way, if I need to go, if I need to sell, or something happens here in Rochester or New York State, I can sell and I'm able to go. That's my model. Everybody has different models. Okay, so don't take what I do. Some people, I know some people I talk to, they want to be all in at around 70%, which is a great model, and that works for them. Okay, and some people don't understand what that means. Basically, by the time they buy it and fix it up, they're into for no more than 70%. So if it's a $100,000 house, they want to buy it and be into it for no more than 70 grand. And the rest is going to be equity for them, or it's a nice little spread. So that way they can sell it and be able to get out. Or if they want to be able to flip it, they can also flip it. Any questions on that? And by the way, feel free, if you have questions on what we're talking about, please feel free to interject on that. By the way, Scott, I know you've been kind of quiet over there. Oh, can you hear?
Yep, I can hear. Can you guys hear me?
I don't know if you want to add anything onto that, or anything you wanted to go over or talk to the group about.
I said before, if you have some rentals and your tenants are moving out, I don't know if the market's still as hot. It seems to be, might be cooling a little bit. I don't know what other people have seen, but I'm seeing across the country the markets start to cool. Not to say that they're still not hot, they're just maybe not red hot right now. Maybe things have slowed down a little bit. But if you have a tenant that's looking to move out, you might want to look to retail sell the house right now, because the money you can get right now, versus what you collect in rents over the years, it takes a few years, I think, to collect the rents to offset that. The big thing you see. But I know rentals and such are causing a lot of stress for a lot of couples and such, tenants not paying. So yeah, you're just out there solving problems. That's it. That's what Joe said. He's not taking advantage. The guy came to him, said he wanted to sell a property, and I named his price, and it worked for Joe. If I was buying right now, I would, especially if I was buying a rental with a tenant in it who's not paying, I'd be conservative. I want to be in that 50% of the value of the property right now myself. So it's definitely a different market. So if you're new to it, it's a great time to learn. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to see things that we haven't seen in years in this business. You just got to stick with it. Some people come in like a, all fire, and then they just burn out really quick. Just kind of slow and steady it. Don't be setting the world on fire, but slow and steady. Flipping houses is still an opportunity. Like Barb has there, she found something that's off market. The family, friends and family knew that she buys real estate, so it came to her. You have to put the word out to let people know that you're doing real estate. That's the biggest thing right now. So, yeah. How about Greg Brooks? Greg, I see your smiling face there. We see you chime in a lot of times on, but you're off video. You got a few things you want to add to what's going on in today's markets? You've been around a while.
I think he's shy. Oh. I don't know if he's able to, maybe muted out.
We couldn't hear you, Greg.
Is he trying to talk?
Yes, we just can't hear him.
Oh, take a hammer to your computer.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Slightly.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Barely.
Just barely. Yeah, seriously. Super quiet. I don't know what's up.
What are you talking from across the room? We might have to come back to Greg. So all right. And by the way, one of the things that I also wanted to talk about too, I know I didn't get a chance to talk to Scott about this, but I found out that obviously because of the moratorium, people are safe right now. but between July and June and July, 500 more people went into or are going to be going into pre-foreclosure. Okay. So, and that doesn't include all the other ones who have been in pre-foreclosure, but obviously are all in the moratorium. I know we talked about this probably about a month or so ago, and I was flabbergasted. Actually, it was 2 days ago I found this out, and I was like floored. 250 in June and 250 more in July. And, you know, the reason why I say this is because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to either need to be helped, whether it be going through short sales, that are going to be either having to sell, having to move, and obviously somebody's going to take a little bit longer of a process to deal with, but just understand, and that is in regards to prices, and that's going to be in regards to people who are flipping. Just be aware of what's going on, because eventually, you know, these people are going to have to come to market. These properties are going to come to market. So you know, for me, when we're buying properties right now, and I still talk to people, they're like, well, you know, we're paying more just because they want the deal. And if you're doing 1 or 2 properties at a time, you know, you're all right. But I know people who are doing like 5, 6, 7 properties, 8 properties at a time. And I'm like, I don't want to be left holding a hot potato. Okay. Because what could happen is that even if they have, let's just say they have 8 properties going at once, and all of a sudden they still have those 2, you know, those 2 are going to eat into the profits of those other 6. Okay. And if you have 4 and you sell 2, and then those other 2 are going to kill your profits, it's going to take away everything you've done. And some of us, you know, some people here make a living from the flipping. So, you know, if that's all you're doing is flipping, better be very, very careful. Okay. And again, the more, I mean, I don't know if this moratorium is going to go right through October. I know they're fighting it right now, tooth and nail. I think the CDC was overruled the last time because they were essentially overstepping their bounds of power, or whatever heck it is you want to call it. I'm not really too sure. Somebody can correct me, I guess. But I am seriously taking that number that I saw into account, because what's going to happen 5, 6 months from now, because remember, buying a flip, you're not going to sell it for like 6 months, 5, 6 months, typically. And if everything starts to come to fruition, what we thought we were going to get is actually going to be a little bit lower. And again, I'm conservative. I don't know how everybody else is here. You know, some people want to be the wild, wild west. More power to you. Okay. Anyone else seeing anything on that?
Go ahead, Greg. I see you have a headset on now. Maybe we can
Yeah,
hear you.
yes. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm actually, I thought we were going to have a major downturn back in 2019, and I was completely wrong. I thought that all those new laws were going to kill us. And to some extent, I think COVID actually may have propped real estate up, because they pumped so much money. They printed so much money. Where the outstanding dollars prior to 20 months ago were $15 trillion. Now we have 21 trillion outstanding. They essentially diluted the currency by 6 trillion. So I'm thinking that most of the upturn in real estate was based on the fact that folks had more money to invest, and they were looking for places to put it. Because the fundamentals, I'm not sure that have been propped up in the same way to support those additional jump in prices. So so far I've been wrong. I can't imagine that without the fundamentals being there for the properties, that they can continue to go up or stay up. But that's just my opinion, which is worth the price you paid for it. So that's all I have to say.
So are you seeing anything in regards to what you're buying them for, in regards to price for yourself, Craig? I mean,
No,
you see
no,
buying them much lower, or what are you doing?
no, what I'm saying is that the prices of the properties have not gone down. I'm surprised at that. I'm surprised at that, given the fact that the it's more difficult for tenants or for landlords to collect from their tenants. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions, anything that they'd like to talk about or go over, by the way? It's in regards, especially in regards to what Greg was just talking about.
The only thing I'll toss in, it's just kind of something interesting that I've seen over the past couple months. I have a lot of friends in my age group that they're right at that point of like, they're looking for like their first house. They're getting out of the apartment thing and they're buying their first house. A lot of them who have really been putting offers in for the past year through all of this. And, we hear how like the market's cooling and you kind of hear that from one group, but it is interesting as you try to think about what's driving that. I talk to a lot of my friends. A lot of them are just burnout. They're burnout from putting offers in, they're burnout from getting rejected. And a lot of them are just say, screw it, we're done for this year. We'll take another stab next spring. So it's interesting to see if like that's part of the mentality that's driving a little bit of the cooling is just the seasonality is, we're getting into summer, the holidays are going to be coming up. That demand, at least again, in the group that I'm around, it's definitely still there. So I guess for me, it'll just be interesting to see if we see that come back next spring again. I guess some people are going for round two. I guess more just an observation that I felt was somewhat related.
I totally agree with that, because I've talked to other agents and I've talked to other people. I hear the exact same thing. They're so tired of just being rejected time after time. They're like, you know what, we're going to wait till there's more properties on the market. And, that's the way I'm actually doing my thinking. If it doesn't happen, that's even better, obviously, because the prices will still be up. But, I've talked to other agents, so instead of getting, 10 offers, they're getting 5 or 4 or 6, which is still, that's 40%, 50% lower than what they were getting, which is still significant. Like, well, still, you got 4, 5, 6 offers. Great. But it's still, I take that as a sign, and then the question is, what's going to happen in the winter? Typically it slows down, but I know a lot of us, the last few winters, it's still been going strong, So, all these people that are looking, maybe they'll see there'll be more houses in the winter, less competition, and maybe they'll come back out. I don't know, I know you're just talking to people who are just looking for the first time houses, right?
Yeah, that's just the group that I'm naturally close with in my day to day.
Yeah. I love doing first time home buyer houses because they sell so quickly. But yeah, I totally get that. I wish, so funny, if you talk to 4 people, you get 5 different opinions on what's going to happen. So I just play conservative, and if things do happen, I'm covered. If they don't happen, I may have lost some opportunity, but I'm still covered. And in the long run, you can still make money because, okay, I was figuring I'm making 140 on this house. I'm going to charge 160. But I figured I'd get maximum 140, but okay, I got to go down to 120. I'm still, you'll still make money. So, again, don't do as I do. Do as whatever you think is right for yourself. And by the way, what models do other people have on this call? Anybody want to share that?
Well, another thing we need to also take into consideration is the new build. That market, all those prices are starting to go back to normal again because the lumber prices are, dropping again. So that's gonna affect the existing home sales.
Now, I read somewhere that out of 360,000 new builds, 60,000 have been sold, which means there's more new builds out there. So, and if they're still building more, that also, I kind of look at the macro stuff, and then I try to bring it down depending on what area you're in. But yeah, I definitely do take that into account. Now, I have talked to builders. If you want to build a house, some of them are almost 8 months out.
Wow.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I talked to one yesterday, and my sister actually works with Gerber Homes, and they're building all over the place. She's actually one of their realtors who actually sells a lots also. She goes, 8 months. So the question is, do some people want to wait 8 months? It depends.
Oh, does that mean they're turning to the existing home market?
Excuse, what was that again?
Does that mean they're turning to the existing homes instead of building?
Some of them she has lost to that because they don't want to wait 8 months.
Who could wait it? Who can wait 8 months?
Yeah, and by the way, what they were doing too, because the lumber prices, and in the contract, it says lumber or price to be determined, when they start in regards to the current, market price of lumber. So some of them were just going so far up. It was, it just depends how bad they wanted it. Maybe it was a dream lot. I don't know, dream home.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the subject of market, can I just say I have a large pressure treated deck that I need to remove. If anybody's looking for good prices on pressure treated, I'll give you a good deal. A lot of it's just the beams, but the, what do you call it? The decking itself probably can't be reused, but got a lot of good timber there. If anyone's looking, so.
Putting one today on one of my rentals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get it. So anyone else want to share some of their models or anything that they're doing? Don't be shy. It's good to hear from other people. I don't want to just be the one talking here. Who on here is flipping? Not one person is flipping. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, Joe.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody here flips, everybody here holds.
I'm flipping self-storage units, but takes about a year to get them stabilized. We're buying them. It's like houses, it's just a different number. We buy them, they're 40% occupied, and we're getting them up to 80% occupied and then taking them and selling them. So that's it, and it's the same business. You get in, you provide a good service, you get them, the units up to where they need to be, and get security measures in place, and then you get paid well for handing off a good product. And it's the same. We did the same thing in the rental business and in the first-time home buyer market. You buy a house that's underperforming or needs some improvements, you get in, do the improvements. So that's what we're doing with self-storage, just getting in and getting them stabilized, getting the rents to where they need to be to, just like houses. It's the same in self-storage. People aren't charging the rents they're supposed to, and it's hard to say what the rents should be. There's a big variable, but we just try to find that sweet spot and get them up to 80-90% occupied and then sell them off. So that's what we've been doing. But yeah, I think that, stay active in real estate. Anybody who's in this, stay active in it. I know there's things that burn you out and there's things that are frustrating. Just stay with it, because in my opinion, you won't find a better business than this. Yeah, I am looking right now. This is off real estate, but I'm looking at ATM service. We have a guy who's actually picking up a route in Baltimore, and there's 10 ATM machines inside of different buildings, and the business, if the numbers are right, the business just seems to work. We've been trying to poke holes in it. We've not been able to poke any holes. I'm not sure if it's different laws in New York State, but with the ATM, you put the ATM in a business. ATMs cost about $2,100 to $2,800, and you put them in a business. If you own your own business, you can put them in there. People would draw the money, their bank puts some money back into your bank account, and the 2.5% or 3.5% fee that you charge on top of it, that comes back to your bank account. So it's a good little money maker. We're thinking that it's going to work. I'll keep you guys posted. Should know more. I say in a month we'll know more about it, but looks to be a decent little business to get into. Yeah, you got to buy the machines. You got to find the people who let you put them in their locations. A lot of these businesses in Baltimore it's a convenience for them, so they let you put the machine in their building, and they have security cameras on them and everything. So, and the average machine, you got to keep about $10,000 in it. So, because people would draw the money goes right back to your account, usually within a day or two. So, and then you just go to the bank, you take the $10,000, been deposited, and you just go fill the machine back up. So there's some risk. We know there's risk with it, but we think that the risk is fairly minimized. And now we find out that there's apps that you put on your phone. It'll tell you how many withdrawals you had, how much money's left in the machine. All the details are in there. And that's a pretty cool business that we're looking to get into. I'll keep everybody posted. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but I'll let everybody know in about a month how it's going.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Scott, but I've been getting phone calls from people who are, the reason why I asked who was flipping on this call is because some of them are starting to change their models on flipping. I've talked to, I know one guy, he just wanted to do as many as possible. And he's to the point now where number one, he doesn't want to do as many. And which he's starting, because people I talk to are all starting to worry about some type of downturn just in case. So now, his model used to be he wanted to make $30,000 on a flip. Okay, which is pretty decent. Now it's $50,000 to $60,000. And again, what we're talking about, may not work for you, or you may want to, whatever. Everybody has different wants and needs. This gentleman, he's in his 30s. He was doing a bunch of properties, and now what he wants to do is, because he's worried about what's going on, especially with the moratorium, with evictions and the foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, all that stuff. But he's doing that for a couple of reasons. Number one, less stress. Okay. A lot of us, some of the people I talked to, one of the things with him was like, he wanted to get into real estate, and all of a sudden he got what he wished for. And Scott, we all know this, all of a sudden you get what you want, and you're stressed out. You're running around like a crazy person. It's 10 o'clock at night. You're still working. You've gone through it, Scott. I know you have. So for him, I guess the motto is if he's not going to make at least that much, he doesn't want to deal with it. He figured if he's going to put 6 months of his time into a property, which is average 5-6 months, He goes, why should I do $30,000? You know, so for him, he's going to start doing a little bit less, but he's going to make more money. And he's actually been less stressed. He actually is enjoying himself a little bit more, and he doesn't have to worry about all of a sudden if something happens, he's stuck with, you know, with those properties. And and we've had many conversations. I've also talked to another guy. His goal this year is to do 30 properties. And I think he's up to around 21 properties. He's very goal oriented. He's very smart. He's not buying stupid. Obviously he's going to, he wants to make a certain amount. And I know it's a heck of a lot more than $20,000, but he's gotten to the point where he's got 30 on the brain. You know, he's at 21 already. I'm like, holy smokes. So he went from just doing all commercial, and he changed his model to be able to take advantage of how crazy the market is. And he obviously has the people and the wherewithal to be able to handle that. I wouldn't want to do 21 houses right now in a year, because I don't have the infrastructure to handle that. I don't know how the heck he does it and still keeps his sanity. More power to him. And again, what I liked about having those two conversations, and I'm going to go over a third example, is that these guys started to pivot. One was originally in residential, got out and just started doing commercial. He was doing buildings, medical buildings, office buildings, and then saw what was going on. Okay, let's see what we can do back to residential. And then the other one started to slow down a little bit. There's another gentleman that I know. He was doing strictly multi-family houses in the city, and he would buy them, fix them up. He'd buy problems. That's what he would do. He'd buy the problems, buy them accordingly, fix them up, and he would sell them at a nice profit for solving the problem. And he, in the past, he did a couple of single family houses in the city, and he lost his shirt. I mean, he was like, never again, never again, never again. Even mentioning the word single, he would hang up the phone on you. There was just none. And now all of a sudden, he's switching his model a little bit. Now he's not totally switching, but what he did was he actually picked up a property in the city, and he did minimal to it, which I was kind of shocked. I said, there is no way you're going to make money on this property. I mean, this property it was bad. And I just found out, he's into that property for right around $28,000 to maybe $30,000. And he's going to make somewhere around $15,000 to $18,000 profit on that property. And for him, it works because he's going to make a huge, that's a 40% return, 40% return on your money. So he's pivoting a little bit, but he's also being very careful. And I've been talking to him for the last week. He's like, and he's reaching out. He's like, I want to do a couple more singles, but he's not changing. He's still doing what's worked for him so far. And he wants to make sure he's not going to put himself in a situation where financially he won't be able to handle it. Okay. And so now he's all excited about doing single family homes. And I had to remind him what he went through. He goes, yeah, I know I got to slow down. But his motto is, if he does stuff, he only wants to pick them up in the teens, because he has the guys, the infrastructure to fix them up. Whereas for me, I wouldn't be able to get the prices he gets or do them for the prices that he gets them done. Okay. For me, my forte is not doing the city property singles. I'll do some of them. in the D type areas, but I end up getting rid of them. Is anyone here even flipped or done anything with a single in the city in regards to that? Anyone even tried? We have a very quiet crowd tonight, either that or this morning, or very, very shy. And by the way, is anything anybody wants to talk about, please don't be afraid to put it out there, because hopefully I want to touch upon, subjects that people are actually interested in, or something that they want or need to know about. Okay. I don't know if anyone put anything in the chat box. I can't really see the chat box. So
Greg Books made a comment about how many guns are we allowed to carry going down to those neighborhoods. Greg, my experience is as long as you're there between 7 in the morning and like 9:30, 10 o'clock, you're good. Just make sure you're gone by 10:30.
Yeah. Look, again, everybody's different. Everybody's motto is very, very different in regards to what they want to do. The thing. What I've noticed is that some of the people that I've talked to who have not changed or not tried pivoting with what's been going on, they've seen a downturn in regards to what they were doing previously. So I am constantly trying to see what's going on. Scott Spear ended up getting out of all of his rentals. And instead of being stuck here in New York State, now he has, that's right, he's got 8 storage facilities and travels all over the country at his leisure, whenever he wants, however he wants, for as long as he wants. Okay. And obviously he changed it to his lifestyle. But the ones that don't change, look, if what you're doing has worked for you so far and you're good, great. If what you were doing prior was and you're not trying to change with what's going on, because I get phone calls. It's crazy. I get people who call me up, and sometimes I think I'm a real estate psychologist. It's kind of funny. It's kind of weird. I'm like, they're like, Joe, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I try to ask what they do. And what did you do before? What are you doing now? Same thing. If you're happy with it and it works, great. If you're not happy with it, you got to change. You got to do something. And for me, I'm already, in my mind, I'm already going into December of this year because I want to know what the heck is going on. And am I always right? No. Scott, you're being quiet out there. What do you got to add to that?
He's gone. He dropped. I don't know where he went.
Yeah, he's on Wi-Fi. He's all the way out somewhere past Albion.
Whoa! He just got back in the waiting room. Hold, please. We'll get him to talk. Maybe we'll put him right on the spot as soon as he rejoins.
Just say, hey, Scott, what do you think of what I just said?
I'll tell you when he's in. There he is. Do it,
Scott. Scott, you there? He can't hear. He told me he was going to be spotty where he was at because he's
I'm back.
Scott, what's your opinion on what we just said?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't hear what you just said. For some reason, Zoom said, "Oh, you got an update you have to do," and we'll do this later. Zoom right now. So what did you guys talk about? I'm sorry.
Talking about some of the people I've been talking to. I'm getting the phone calls about people, about asking opinions because some of their businesses, they're not changing with what's going on. They're doing the exact same freaking thing. And I was talking about how what you did, you got out, you wanted to change what you wanted to do. You had different plans, different goals. So you sold everything and you got into storage facilities. Some of these other people we talked to, they're doing the exact same thing. And it's just mind boggling to me how they're doing that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing comes from it. It's hard to, when you're in it, it's really hard to see how it is, because just every day you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. You think it's right. And when I shifted, trust me, it was a huge change, and it was painful, and it was a little stressful. It's like, okay, am I doing the right thing? Yeah, when you're in a routine and things seem to be working, or if they're not quite working, maybe they're working okay. It's hard to really do that. And the big thing that helped me is I have a couple coaches that I work with who kind of helped me through some things and helped me to see some different things, and then talk with my wife a lot. That was the biggest thing, is talking with her, and it was tough. You know, just hearing, okay, this is what I should do, and then doing it. I'm glad I did. And I'm glad I had the people there to help me along the way, including the people on this call. I talked to a lot of people on this call about what I was doing and shifting, and it was a big change. And I think that's the biggest thing for a lot of people. When you're in it, it's hard to see a different way or a different light. You just kind of think you're stuck in this, and it'll get better and it'll get better. Change is hard. Change is hard for a lot of people. It's hard for me. So, but I shifted, no regrets. I got into it. I see some things maybe I should have done a little differently, and that's why I'm changing now how I'm approaching some of these businesses, some of these art facilities. So I'm taking a little different approach.
Scott, when you were in the middle of that change, did you try keeping your toe dipped in the pool of the rentals the renter owns a little bit, or did you just go, that's it, you just cut it off? What did you do?
I kept my toe in it. I'll admit, because like, okay, I know this was working. I kept my toe in it, and then I finally had to, like with rentals, just totally walk away from the rentals and say, okay, no more rentals. If I get some, I'll pass it on to somebody else. Same with the flip properties. I had some opportunities come up, and I just said, nope, I'm going to break from that. I was doing a lot of money lending. I backed off from that. We're still doing a little bit, but not near as much as we were doing, because when you find the one thing that you're good at and you can focus on it.
Oh, I think he froze. Scott.
When I shedded all that other stuff and looked to self-storage in a ton, it's still a ton for me. Okay. Am I still good? Am I broke up?
Yeah,
You just cut up. It just fast forwarded. Turn your video off, and it'll probably clear some of your signal up. We'll probably be able to hear you better.
Okay. All right. When I kind of flushed all those other things out and stopped putting my toes in other things, that's when I was able to start focusing on self-storage and really becoming better at it. I still got a long ways to go to learn on it. But I've become better at it, and I've had people reach out to me, and that's the thing. You just get pulled too many directions sometimes. And I do that, and I just have to pull myself back and focus. Like this ATM thing, it's very small. It's something just me and two other guys are going to do it, and we're just going to see what happens with it. Probably won't grow into anything big, but it was a minimum investment for me, and I think the return on it will be good. But it's still self-storage. If I come across a rental deal, I'll pass it off to somebody else. If I come across a flip deal, I'll give it to somebody else. I won't go into it myself. That's the thing they call staying in your lane, and that's what I'm doing. So
yeah.
Hope that helps.
Yeah. Well, anyone else going through some of those painful changes?
I don't know if I would call them painful. I just think that, from a management consulting standpoint, the biggest challenge people have is adapting to changes in the environment they're in and pivoting to stay successful, right? So I see it all the time from a change management standpoint, where people have been doing the same thing for 20 or 30 years and they're successful and they make a bunch of money, and yet they're leaving 5 or 6 figures on the table over here because they don't know what they don't know, because they're not staying current and up to date, and they're not changing their processes and taking advantage of new technology, new products, new relationships. They're not shopping, they're comfortable. And that stasis, it's the frog in the pot of water, right? Temperature keeps going up and up and up and up, and the frog just sits there and goes, wow, this is cool. And then they're dead and somebody eats them. And that's what we're seeing in real estate. We're seeing it in businesses. Compare it to the .com thing in the early 2000s. All these brick and mortar retailers just doing what they're doing the same way all the time. New technology comes along, they go, whatever. And what happened? You know, lots of small business owners very angry. Oh, the internet, Amazon, blah, 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 blah. And now we see all these small internet retailers that don't even have a brick and mortar store that are extremely successful competing with Amazon because they pivoted and adapted to the times, or found a way to make money working against Amazon or with Amazon in some cases, or other online retailers. And they made it work because they were willing to change and adapt, right? And that's the challenge everybody always has, is you need to be willing to see that pivot and move. So for me, I don't just work with real estate investors anymore, right? I've spoken to international investment banks. I did a talk about a month ago to UBS in front of all of their investors. It was an hour-long talk about the building materials and housing market, construction market in the US. I talked to people on that call. It was 7 o'clock at night, my time. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, their time, because I was talking to people in Singapore and Hong Kong and Australia. And that's not my wheelhouse. I make money doing it. I understand the market because that's kind of what I do, but that's not my primary income. But I'm still going to take those opportunities when they come, right? And it's the same thing. I'm working with, you know, Fortune 500 companies right now, doing a big project that isn't necessarily my wheelhouse of what I do for real estate investors, but it is what I do from a market standpoint and a construction background, right? I've been in the industry for 20 something years. I understand all the hoops that my customers have to jump through to get things done with laws and regulations and everything else. So I'm able to provide a service without having to really go too far outside my lane, and I can do it competently, right? My insurance company that I have to pay several $1,000s a year because I tell people what to do to run their businesses. That's a liability thing. They're not complaining about it because I have the background to make it work. So it comes down to being willing to see the writing on the wall, whether you like it or not, and make those changes and adapt to the market. Like, you're not stuck in Rochester. You can find properties in states that are far more investor friendly and operate your business from Rochester. You'll lose a little bit of money, but you gain a whole lot of security, right? Your cash flow might go down by 10% because you're paying a property manager, but you're in the long run, maybe you're going to be safer.
Mhm.
So
I agree with you, Andy. You're smart, you know, and it's some of these people, they will start to change. Some of them, you know, especially if you have a partnership. I've had people wanting to partner up, and we had differences of opinions and differences wanting to go, and I'm like, this is not going to work. So, you know,
hey, the frog in the pot of water is what creates opportunities down the road for other people. I hate to say it, but that's reality, right? And it's just like the guys who run multifamily complexes at the 40% model. They suck all the profit out of it. And it turns into a derelict complex. Well, guess what? That's where the value add investor is going to come in and turn that thing around and make a whole boatload of cash. You're creating opportunities for other people down the road. So there's always going to be people who just sit in the pot until they're cooked. That's reality. Your job as a real estate investor is to find those people and take advantage of the market while it's hot. There's a reason why big players in the stock market are cash rich right now. You know, they're sitting on billions of dollars of cash waiting for that drop, and then they're going to buy.
They're hunting. That's what we do every day. We're hunters. So, but well, anyone else have anything they want to add? Everybody's all set. I guess we're going to call it a meeting. I appreciate everybody being on here. Go buy some real estate. Have a great day, everybody. I'll hang out for a couple minutes just in case. And Have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, I'll hang on too.
Scott, check out there. You're going to be here just for a few more days?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think until next week, Wednesday. So, yeah.
All right.
Did I freeze again?
Nope, you're there.
I think that ATM opportunity
Okay.
that,
All right.
can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me or not.
You're good, Greg. You're coming through loud and clear.
I think that opportunity that Scott was talking about with the ATM, that could work out to be something good. There's definitely people making money at that. That's for sure. And that a lot of times those fees are coming from banks. They're not coming from the individuals because the banks offer that as part of their service when you sign up for a checking account. So that could be very good. Good for you, Scott. That was good thinking.
Yep.
Thanks.
Only roadblock I see
Guy
there
had
is
the
if they
opportunity.
push.
I love what you were saying, Andy.
What's that, Andy?
Yeah, and what Andy was saying too, I think that's absolutely correct. No matter what the tragedy is, no matter how bad things are, and what in the marketplace, every one of them brings an opportunity. There's someone somewhere there, someone got dirty, filthy rich because of COVID or the oil crisis or whatever it is. There and every time that happens, if you're poor, you have one more opportunity to get rich. So that's all I had to say. Andy said it much more eloquence than I did, but that was good. That was a good thing, and you should say that more often.
I appreciate that, Greg. Thanks. But Scott, the only thing I was thinking of is with all this printing of money we're doing, what happens if we go cashless?
Right. Yeah, I know.
The government comes out with their own version of Bitcoin, then what?
Yeah, there certainly is a lot of versions.
I mean, I think you'll have enough notice to be able to pivot at that point, but still, it's like, where are we going? Inflation's interesting right now.
Yeah.
I have an inflation cause on all my contracts now.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of 2018 to 2020 numbers. Like 2018 to 2020 is baseline for my contracts. So if there's any inflation past that point, when the government issues their report, I can raise my fees.
Is that based on CPI,
Yes.
Andy?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So which index do you use? It's CPI. Are there sub indexes within the CPI?
There are, but I base it off of, let me look. This is getting super technical. And I did actually find the appropriate one when I had it written into my contract. Give me a sec here and I'll pull it up. Because I actually put it into my contract with Boylan Code.
Oh, that's great. That's real good. I mean, Ross Perot always says the devil's in the details. So
yep.
He used to say that, and that is true because we speak generally here a lot, which is really what the meeting's about. But the finer pointers it's the fine points that we have to take care of too in order to go forward.
Oh yeah, totally. So the inflation adjustment is CPI for all urban consumers, U.S. city average, all items not seasonally adjusted, most recently issued by the U.S. government. So
that's awesome.
CPI-U is the one I used.
Okay, that's very good. That I was looking for those call letters. CPI-U. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So you put your fee, you relate, you tie your fee to that.
Yep, whatever's in the contract. So I have two contracts. I have the master services agreement that covers, it's the blanket, that's all the language and all the technical stuff, and it lasts for 2 years. And then all the nomenclature and BS is in that, and the pricing is in the actual agreements that are project specific that I do later. So the governing language is the 2-year contract. The actual individualized contracts are all broken out and their pricing is in there. And at any time inflation gets out of hand, I can go back to the governing language and adjust my contract fee. And they've already agreed to it.
That's great. That's awesome. That was actually a really, really good forward thought idea that you had there. And I appreciate that also, that the updates that you give us regarding the moratoriums and the cases that are involved with that, because that's where the rubber is going to meet the road on this.
Yep.
And I don't think this is going to end. I don't think I mean, once they do stop with these moratoriums, I think they'll be tricked to, they will be quick to pull the trigger in the future. Win or lose.
Yeah, I think so.
Even if they lose the court case right now, they've achieved their goal because they were able to string it along until however far they wanted to string it. They're not going to give everybody's money back.
Right. That's what the Supreme Court actually said. They didn't knock the prior law down. They said it's completely unconstitutional and you don't have the ability to do it, but we're not going to act because it expires in like 3 weeks. So we don't care. And here we are. Because if they had struck it down, Biden's executive order would never have been able to take effect.
Well, they struck it down and said they weren't supposed to do that, which may apply towards the future. But then the next time they'll just tweak it a little bit for an end around to achieve the same goal, to do what they want to do. And they got away with it, and pretty much the public doesn't care because there's more bleeding hearts and tenants and people that can go on the news and say how poor they are when they spent their stimulus money on tattoos.
Right.
So that will continue, and they will do it at the next tragedy in a second.
Probably, unfortunately, true. Yeah,
but just like anything, there will be an opportunity there.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's, I'm kicking myself for not doing the Bitcoin thing when it was $800 each, like 2008.
I'm right here. Okay, gotta go, guys.
See you, Greg.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Greg is right. In the end, just stay with it in real estate, and when the opportunity turns, you'll be ready. You'll be ready before everybody else. So I think there's gonna be some opportunities coming. Just if you're in the W-2, stay with the W-2 for now, and when things turn, you'll be ready. Just keep learning, going and growing and learning.
Yep, that's the key.
Hey, Scott, I'm curious why you're not doing the money lending right now.
Because, well, 2 reasons. One of the biggest reasons is because we're not sure what's going to happen in the market. We use a lot of other people's money to lend. And we have to look at it like, would we invest our money into these opportunities? We do have some people that are getting some great deals. Like what Barb found, she may have a great deal. Who knows? Because it's family and friends. But there's still a lot of new people coming into the market, and their numbers are off. And if the market takes a turn, we don't want to have to foreclose on anybody. We've never had to. We've knocked on wood. We've had all our loans have been successful, and we want to maintain that record. But we don't want somebody who thinks they're going to sell a house for 200. All of a sudden, they've got 150 into it, and they're only able to sell it for 160. That's our conservative approach.
Okay.
We may have missed out on some opportunities over the last year, but I think that if and when the market turns, I think we're going to be in a little better position.
So you'll get back into it at that point, is what you're thinking?
Yeah, we'll get back into it. I've allocated a lot of my money towards self-storage. I just found it to be a better, that's my focus in self-storage. But with the money lending, yeah, we probably will. We're doing a few small, not small loans, but we're doing a few loans right now. We're people are actually picking up the properties at the right price. We have one right now, guy's picking up, it's a $200,000 house. He's picking it up for 100. He wanted to borrow 100 from us. So we knew we were safe on that one. And he has 40,000 to put into it with everything. So he's gonna be into about 140. Easily is probably 200. Might, if the market stays hot, might sell for 225, 235. But we're guessing the number, just to be conservative, we said, okay, what if it sells for 180? We know that our 100 is still safe. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm interested in getting involved with that. And yeah, but I don't have a ton, well, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15,000 to loan. So yeah, I'm interested in, maybe if you do another one to be part of that. So just yeah, again, I'm grateful that you want to make sure I don't lose money on it. That's the idea.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to send me your contact information, we can add you to the list. When we come across a deal, we send it out an email, and then people respond back and say, I can invest,
How much?
20,000, 80,000. Once we fill it, then we do it. Yeah.
Okay,
So
perfect.
we've actually had people come to us who, hey, I want to lend money on this property, but I'd like for you to vet the person and the property. And let's say if it's $100,000 loan, we vet it, and then we get a 2% management fee on it. And usually the borrower pay that. And we've done a couple of deals like that where it's like, okay, we've checked out the property, we've run the numbers, we looked at the property, and we know that things will work. We've done a couple of those. Those have been really just internal type that people have brought to us who wanted to lend money in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Perfect.
All right, good.
Thanks.
Okay, everybody. Everybody else good?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Have a
Good
great
day.
day.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yep. See y'all.
See you.
So long.